Aloha and mahalo for joining me. I'm Janet and welcome to the Called to Create podcast. I am here to help you ladies unlock your creative potential and use your God given gifts and start a business. Because you were called to create and you have so much to share, and the world needs your creative gifts to be shared right now, ladies. Let's do this. I wanted to talk to you today about having a daily practice. So, do you have a daily practice? And what does that even mean? So, a daily practice would be something that you do every morning when you wake up. Because I like to mention that I would like to help you create a life and a business so that you get excited about something instead of going through the daily grind. I mention the daily grind quite often because I was in that cycle years ago. And it's pretty common for like so many people that I've met and talked to and former clients and students that I think you get into that practice of just doing the grind, right? You go to work and sometimes people fight traffic like an hour to 2 hours, and you fight traffic in the morning when you're going to work, and then you fight traffic when you come home. And you come home, and then there's not much time left in the evening to, like, if you have kids, right? You got to spend time with your kids, and then you have dinner, and then it's time to get ready for bed. And then, you go to sleep, and then you wake up and you do the same thing over and over. And I've been through that cycle for years, and I didn't realize how it affected me. But one thing that I started a long time ago was to have a daily practice first thing in the morning, that there are specific things that I do. And, I've noticed that since I've done that, I have gotten out of that daily grind of just getting up, just going through the motions, go to work, come home, take care of kids, same thing over and over for years. So now what I do is that the first thing in the morning is like my own personal practice is that I kneel in prayer. And that's my belief. And so that's what I do. And I pray. And then, I just try to think about like, okay, how can I make my day enjoyable and effective? Like sometimes I'll think about like who can I serve or who needs help. And but just that time in the morning to just focus on my connection with God and how I can live my day better or fully, or it my prayer of course is different every day. But that's how I started. And then I go and I make my bed and do things like that. And so I've been consistent with that for many many years, and probably, I don't know, more than 16 years, maybe close to 20. I don't even know now because it's been so long. But I try to keep up the same practice in the mornings, and that just sets the day. Because how you get up in the morning, you have a choice, right? How you do the morning routine will kind of like determine how your day goes. So if you have a practice that you put in place, that there's specific things that you do that will help you, because we have a practice, right? If you're not aware of what's going on, you have a practice of getting up, going to work, doing the same old thing. Just because when you have bills to pay or a mortgage or rent to pay and a family to support or whatever, sometimes it doesn't leave room for you to think about yourself and how you can grow, and it doesn't leave room for you to think about how you can create something that will get you excited every day. And sometimes you might go to work and you have a job where you're not really excited to be there, or you've been there for so long that you just hate it or you don't like it anymore. So try to develop a practice in the morning, that will set the tone for the rest of the day, where you can think about what's going to get you excited and set you on the right path. Because your thoughts always will get in the way. Because when you wake up in the morning, think about like what your first thoughts are. Like for years, my thoughts, the only thing I thought about first thing was like, I'm tired. I don't really want to get up. Do I have to do this? Do I have to get up? Do I have to go to work? It was all just totally negative. And that's what happened. The rest of the day I was just tired and exhausted, and that's all I could think about was how tired I was and how I want to take a nap, and like, oh my goodness, am I gonna like survive? So I realized that this is not working for me, and I didn't like it, and I didn't like how I felt. I started creating a routine, and then as time went on, I had the ability to start thinking about, okay, like what is going to make me excited every morning? Of course, now I'm not perfect at all. I had some mornings where I would just get out of bed and just go straight to the kitchen or whatever. It wasn't always perfect where I made my bed and I prayed immediately. Sometimes I had days where it was just kind of all over the place. And that will happen because I'm not perfect, and as humans, no one is perfect. But if you have a practice in place, at least you can do something that will help you get on the right track in the day, in the morning. So think about what that practice could be for you. And I always recommend like writing down your thoughts first thing in the morning too, what you're thinking, because sometimes your thoughts will start stressing you out. And you can write it on paper and see what's going on. It'll help you to catch it and be aware of it and try to figure out, okay, I'm having this negative thought. Is it going to kill me? Can I think of a better thought? Or how can I just let it go? And there's many ways of doing it. But if you start a practice, it's really helpful in how you feel during the day. And we all want to feel good, right? We all want to be able to feel joy and happiness and have energy. So do this today. Think about what you can do if you don't have a daily practice. Now, it can be a daily practice where you have something in the afternoon or the evening too, but having something in the morning really helps. And I know because I've done this for a long time. When I have mornings where I just jump out of bed and go and I don't do my normal daily morning practice, then something just feels off. I just feel like I struggle more, and it's like harder to focus. So do this and let me know what your daily practice is. You can also send me a direct message and let me know what's happening with you, and you have worth and value. So make sure you take care of yourself, because if you don't take care of yourself, then you can't take care of anyone else. And please share this podcast with anyone who you know would get great value out of listening to it. Or if you know anyone that wants to start a creative business, please send this podcast their way. I would really appreciate that. And I want to ask you a favor. If you can please take a minute to rate and review this podcast. And if you're listening to this podcast in the Apple Podcast app, you can rate and review this show right there at the bottom. So as soon as you open my show, you can just scroll down all the way to the bottom and you can rate and review it right there, because reviews are so important and they tell potential listeners and Apple that this show is worth listening to. And I would really appreciate that. Thank you so much. And have a great day, ladies. Take care of yourself. Aloha.